How's it going, guys? Conninja back again, this time for the PGL Season 6. Very excited to join our first really decent, big YouTube draft league. We are, again, the Golden State Miniors, and we have a different, this is going to be our draft analysis video for Season 6. Now, there's definitely a couple of Uber options we could have chose from. There's things like Darkrai, Hoopa, Unbound, the Mega Latios, Deoxys Speed, Deoxys Defense, Ninganadel, Celesteela, but there's a bunch of different options we could have chose from. Now, I ended up choosing a couple from those Uber options, not gonna lie, and you'll see as the draft gets into it that you'll see what kind of picks I made. Now, you can see from the thumbnail that we did pick up Cortana. I'm not gonna like announce anything like that, but Cortana was kind of the pre-plan after looking at like what was kind of a steal. And Cortana was put in Tier B, and I'm like, wow, that is a major steal. So we're definitely going to get that. We're not going to waste our first pick, though. We're going to waste our second pick. Now, there were 20 people, so I had to like move around in the draft a lot because I was the 19th pick out of 20 teams. But with the first pick in the PGL Season 6 draft, we went ahead and picked up Mega Latios. Yes. Now, as you can see, this team is very similar to how my MPVP team was with Mega Latios and Cortana. Now with Mega Latios, for one, Latios was picked, but Latios is a definitely bulkier option. So you have an 80 HP, 120 defense, 140 special attack, 150 special defense, and still that 110 base speed tier, which is super nice. And it's nice to have a dragon type. Now, the nice thing with this is it can Calm Mind. I believe this is, I don't believe it's Latios, but Latios can also run a physical set in which it can Dragon Dance. But it can roost up off of those damage, as the guy that helped me draft says, bulky Dragon Psychic type that just soaks hits and roosts them off coverage for days. You can run T-Bolt, Shadow Ball, Dragon Pulse, all these kind of moves that you can really run. But Recover is super nice for a recovery option, especially because when you can, something I did in MPBP in the round 1 playoffs is I ran a sub Calm Mind set, which it ran beautifully. Sub Calm Mind Shadow Ball Psychic. Shadow Ball was for Jirachi, and oh man, I obliterated his team with sub Calm Mind Mega Latios because it outspeeds everything. So once I set up that substitute, he literally couldn't do a thing. It was beautiful. All he could do was Toxic me off. It would have been beautiful if I had substitute on that Toxic. It would have been great. But yeah, it can also be a defogger. It helps get rid of those hazards. Not that you really want to use that. It's gonna be one of those like 4-move slot syndrome kind of things. But defog, you can always run defog on. It's not that bad. And guys, I'm gonna let y'all know, I only have nicknames for 2 Pokemon, and that is it. The rest of them, y'all can decide. Do you want them shiny or not? And what are the nicknames? Go ahead and say in the comments below what are the nicknames you want and whether they should be shiny or not. Like I said, I'll tell the 2 Pokemon that I know are gonna be I know their nicknames, like this next one. And in our second round pick, we picked up Cortana. Now this one, I already told you, is gonna be nicknamed Dunder Mifflin, like it was in MPVP, as long as it fits. Hopefully it does fit though. But Cortana always brings that nice 181 base attack and 109 base speed. So we have the nice speed tiers of 110 and 109. Not too shabby at all. We can outspeed any of those average speed tiers like the 100, 101, those kind of things. So super nice. Now obviously it's what hinders it is its fire weakness and base 31 special defense. So obviously we die to any sort of HP fire. Even if it's a physical attacker, we die to that HP fire. So it is something we have to worry about. We also have to worry about like vacuum wave priority, because then we die to that no matter what happens. But I've run different sets with this thing in the MPVP. This and Mega Latios worked really well, so Mega Latios and Cortana should work again very well. It got Smart Strike, Leaf Blade, Sacred Sword, Psycho Cut, but in Ultra Sun and Moon, it got Knockoff. So if someone wants to switch into it, we're just gonna knock off that item. So we used to be Night Slash, but now it's Knockoff. So I'm very excited to use Knockoff, especially because I believe Knockoff is a base 65 damage power rather than 60. Not entirely sure because Night Slash is only 70, so it's not that big of a deal even if it doesn't have an item. It's not really that big of a deal, but super clutch to have Knockoff, especially if nothing wants to switch into this thing. It is gonna be one of, I won't announce that yet, but you can run. Oh wait. Okay. So you can run all sorts of sets. You could run subset. There's interesting where you would do like certain, you would decrease the IVs in its attack, and you can run a timid set in which it gets a speed boost rather than an attack boost when it kills. But you got that nice beast boost. And that's the thing with Mega Latios, as well as it gets levitate ability, so it's a great ground switch in as well. It's also predictable, so you definitely got to watch out for that. But Cortana gets that beast boost, so get that nice clean attack boost is really all you're going to get. Unless, of course, you run a timid set in which you get timid nature, 0 attack EVs, and it's like 20, it's 19, I think it's 19 attack IVs. Which is super weird, yes, but because its attack is so powerful enough, you can still do that and run a timid set in order to get the speed boost in order to kind of complement your sweep. Plus, you run Swords Dance. You can run Swords Dance on this thing to help boost that attack. So if you even have that weak 19 IV attack, you can still run Swords Dance and boost up your attack. And then also it gets Defog, so it's a nice Defogger. But because it's so frail, I really don't think you want to run Defog on that thing. With our 3rd round pick, we went ahead and picked up Aromatisse. Now, we were looking at Florges to finish up the Dragon Steel Fiery Core, but Aromatisse is a nice kind of Florges budget pick because it still gets Wish. You can pass on that Wish. It still has some decent bulk to it. It's got 101 base HP, 72 defense, 89 special defense, and a 99 special attack. It is really slow, but who cares? So yeah, it's got that 89 special defense. Florges would have been nice because it has like a 159 base special defense, which is insane, or it's like 180 something. I can't remember which is which. What's Alomomola? Yeah, so it would have been insane. But I still would take Aromatisse, nice healer. Can take a lot of hits. You can run Moonblast on this thing, Wish Protect gets the Heal. This is definitely your Cleric option. Clerics are always nice, especially if we want to get, if we want to heal up Mega Latios if it gets too many hits. Some of these other Pokemon I'll have that I'll show you in a second here can definitely benefit from a Wish. And obviously Moonblast, you can definitely get off a powerful Moonblast. Most of the time this set is kind of obvious. You got a Wish, Heal Bell, Protect, Moonblast, maybe a hidden power just for any switch-ins, that kind of thing. But that's pretty much it that you're going to see with the Aromatisse. But with our 4th round pick, we went ahead and picked up our boy Vulcanian. Now, if you remember in Season 5 of the D&D, the league, we did end up winning, losing the championship. I ended up dropping Vulcanian around mid-season. I just didn't use it very well at all. Well, now that I've gotten more experience with the Draft League format, I feel like I can use it a lot better. Because I can still take advantage of just its power. I know its speed is not the greatest at 70 base speed, but it's got a 130 base special attack, 90 special defense, 120 defense, and honestly, I didn't really realize that was a 110 base attack. Not that you're going to really run a physical set, but who knows? Maybe you want to. But obviously, this thing's got a nice fire-water typing. It's got that ability Water Absorb. As Gareth puts it, massive special wall breaker with Hydro Scald, aka Steam Eruption, and being immune to water, resisting fire. So much is too good. And that's something we need. We need to be able to resist fire with Cortana, because Cortana's big weakness is fire. And then obviously we can absorb any or immune to any water type attack, which is super nice. So that was definitely something. It kind of filled 2 roles there, being a fire resistor and a water absorber. So that was super clutch. But yeah, it's got a Steam Eruption, which is like a uber option for Scald, which is super nice. You can run Earth Power, Sludge Bomb, Fire Blast. You can run Toxic on it if you want something to switch in. You could run a Choice Scarf set. So if you want to run Choice Scarf on this thing, it's similar to how you run Choice Scarf on Heatran. It's kind of a niche. You want to outspeed certain things. I also could run this thing in like perhaps Trick Room, Tailwind, that kind of thing. Different kind of speed options to help deal with that lower tier speed. I remember I've run a Shuckle Berry on it to deal with the ground attacks. Then you can get off a powerful hit. You can run the Specs. You can run a subset. So if you predict a switch in, you run sub. It's a free huge Steam Eruption or Fire Blast to get off, which is super nice. So definitely something I would definitely want to use here. So obviously you can see we have 3 huge attackers, 2 wall breakers here, 1 special, 1 physical. Super nice. So now we need to get a little bit more physical attacker here. Probably looking at a hazard setter. So with our 5th round pick, we went ahead and picked up a Gliscor. Now obviously this thing is 4 times weak to ice, but that's okay. Vulcanian will be able to resist ice 4 times actually. I believe it's 4 times resistant to ice, so it's not too bad. But in terms of item and ability, it's pretty obvious. You run Poison Heal with the Toxic Orb. It's got a 125 base defense, 95 base attacks, 75 base special defense, and then 95 base speed. So it has a definitely average speed tier, which is not too shabby. Like I said, you run Toxic Guard and Poison Heal as like a leftover recovery type option. Obviously, it's a nice switch into a Toxic or a Will-O-Wisp because obviously it can't get status, which is super clutch. But it's also your hazard setter, and I believe it's a defogger, so it can help remove hazards. So that's pretty nice. It's a ground switch, and again, it can take steel hits, which is something you need for Aromatisse. So that's something you'll need. Obviously, it's their stealth rocker. As Gareth puts it, it is a bulky rocker pivot that gets defog and decent coverage options. So yeah, a lot of times you're just going to run an EQ. You could run Roost, so it does give a recovery option. So that's super nice. Did I say recover on Latios? It's Roost, by the way, not recover. But it gets Swords Dance. You're going to run Facade because it is poison type. So there's all sorts of things you can run with this thing. But in terms of coverage, it's not the greatest, but that's okay. I just need a stronger ground attacker, and that's kind of where Gliscor fits in. Now this is where we got our second Uber option here. Because Mega Latios is considered an Uber option. Cortana's not. But with our 6th round pick, we went ahead and picked up a Darkrai. Yes, you'd be like, Connor, what is wrong with you? Well, I saw an opportunity and I took it. So we got a base 125 speed, base 135 special attack, and 90 in defense and special defense, which is super nice. You can run a nasty plot on this thing. Gareth puts it, just OP. LOL, like actually too good for draft format. I agree. This thing is just amazing. Now, people are putting out there that it's not drafted that often, yada, yada, yada. Well, honestly, it's time for this thing to get drafted. It's time for this thing to be used well. Obviously, we're weak to kind of fighting priority, which is a problem, but not that big of a deal. Against Bad Dreams, so if you can have a Pokemon that can kind of set something to sleep, then Bad Dreams will negate its deplete its health at like 1/8 option, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. The thing gets Nasty Plot. So if anything wants to switch out, we set up on its face. Nasty Plot, you could run a subset. It gets things like Dark Pulse, Focus Blast, Sludge Bomb. So definitely get some decent coverage options there. Now, this thing is super powerful to pair with something like Cortana. Now, obviously, the only issue is Cortana and Darkrai are both weak to fighting. So if someone runs a Vacuum Wave, pretty much we're both dead here. But Latios helps deal with that weak to fighting option. Now, it is also, it can hit Ghost types really well, which is something we need because Mega Latios is weak to Ghost types. Oh, and Vulcanian is another one I know nicknamed. Vulcanian is going to be nicknamed Stargate SG1 because of this Stargate. Those are the only 2 Pokemon I know will be nicknamed. Otherwise, I need y'all to come up with some nicknames and whether something should be shiny or not. As long as the shiny is something legal. So like Darkrai cannot be shiny. Vulcanian cannot be shiny. But I'm very excited to use Darkrai. It's a huge special attack sweeper. So it'll be very nice to pair something like Mega Latios. Now, next up, we got Galvantilla as our 7th round pick. Now, Galvantilla is a Sticky Web user, something I really like to use in the PLL. If you haven't noticed, I love using Sticky Web Dupiter. That thing is amazing. But I also need an electric typer. And so I thought about this. I know I'm special heavy here, special attack heavy. But when I was looking at it, I'm like, most electric attackers, electric typers are going to be a special other than like Electivire. So it's like, might as well go ahead and pick up, if he's available, might as well go pick it up. And Galvantilla was. That way I can get Sticky Webs. You can run a Sash set on this. So that way you can guarantee you get your Sticky Webs up. It's a nice Volt Switcher, so you can gain momentum by Volt Switching on into any sort of switch in. You can run a Spec set, which is super nice because it does have a decently powerful special attack at base 97. Base 108 speed, so we got that 108, 109, 110, and 125 base speeds. Super nice, and 95 base speed. So we definitely have a nice little average, speed tiers going on there. Now, it definitely doesn't take hits that well. But again, it's more like a Sticky Webber and nice special attacker. You can get Thunder, Bug Buzz, T-Bolt. You can run an HP set. It does get things like Compound Eyes to increase. Reason why you would run Thunder is because Compound Eyes increases the accuracy of any moves, such as Thunder, even though it has a base. I believe it's got like a 70% accuracy, or is it 80? I think it's 70. But that's really what you're going to run is Compound Eyes. Bug Buzz. So all sorts of things you can run with this thing. I believe it gets Psychic as well. Psychic, maybe Shadow Ball. No, it doesn't get Psychic, but it does get Shadow Ball. No, maybe it doesn't get Shadow Ball. Okay. Well, fine by me. It'll be a nice option to obviously switch in to any electric attackers. Can gain some momentum with a Volt Switch, that kind of thing. So next up, I hate this Pokemon. This is literally my least favorite Pokemon in Draft League format, but at least now I don't have to face it. So with the 8th round pick, I went ahead and picked up Alomomola. Like I said, this has literally become my least favorite Pokemon in Draft League format. I was finally able to beat Alomomola with a Solar Beam weakness policy, Sunny Day Entei, and the MPVP, which is super clutch. Poor Gel. I'm sorry, Gel. But I honestly hate this thing. I am 1 for 3 against this thing in Draft League format, but now I don't have to face it. Now this thing, the reason why it's so hard to deal with, it's got a base 165 HP. So it has the best wish in the format. With that 165 base HP, you can wish and anything will pretty much get its entire health back. Because if you don't know, wish, what it is 50% of the Pokemon that wished its HP. So you can pass 50% of Alomomola's HP to something like Vulcanian, Mega Latios. So we got 2 nice wishers here. It obviously has the Regenerator ability. You switch out, you get, what is it, 33% of your health back, which is ridiculous. You can run Toxic Set a lot of times. This thing gets knockoff. So no matter what switches in here, knockoff, you get rid of its item. So if it's any sort of life orb, sorry bud, you're not dealing with this boy. Toxic Scald, that kind of thing. Wish Protect, it's kind of a mono set that you run with this thing. It's more of whether Toxic and Knockoff are kind of switched there. Even Toxic or Protect, but it's pretty much Wish, Protect, Toxic, Knockoff, and Scald for the most for the most part. What you're gonna see with that leftovers item. Now, as Gareth puts it, it is stupid fat and just soaks hits for days. Yeah, this thing is insane. Again, it resists fire and resists water, so it's just super nice. Now, I noticed we need to help hinder that fighting weakness we have with like a Darkrai and Cortana, other than Mega Latios. So I went ahead and picked up a Ghost type, and I was very excited to get this thing because it is also a T-Spiker. We ended up getting Cofagris. No, sorry. Is it Cofagris? No, I always make fun of that. Cofagrigus, which is a base 145 defense and base 105 special defense, base 95 special attack. So it's definitely got some decently bulk to it, as Gareth puts it. It is really bulky option that can surprise you by setting up Trick Rooms, Calm Minds, Nasty Plots, typical Ghost, Spin Blocker with Willow, and Knock. Very versatile. Yes, it is. So it does get Trick Room, which would be super clutch to run on something like Vulcanian. We run Trick Room, Vulcanian. Oh my gosh, we may as well sweep right there. Set up a substitute if you want to switch out and stall out Trick Room. Vulcanian will set up a substitute and obliterate his team. Again, it's a rapid spinner option, so after Gliscor sets up rocks, you can switch in Cofagrigus, and obviously it's immune to those normal types. It's immune to those fighting types as well, so a Vacuum Wave Mach Punch is going to be able to easily take that. You can set up Toxic Spike, something I definitely want to look at. I thought about going into Tentacruel, but I'm like, you know what? No. I noticed I needed a Ghost type. It's got that, so like, you know what? It's a T-Spiker, super nice, because T-Spikes are super nice to just, just status everything with the poison move. It also has that ability Mummy, which as offensively, it's not that great, but defensively, it's amazing. So if you face a Sheer Forcer, obviously it loses that Sheer Force ability once it makes contact with you, which is super clutch. So like Darm, if it wants to use Flare Blitz, it loses that Sheer Force ability, which is actually decently kind of niche right there. And then obviously, yep, it gets Calm Minds, that spot can set up in your face. You can run a Will-O-Wisp to help deal with those physical attackers. So it's a really nice Pokemon to definitely use. I'm excited to use it. Now, with our 10th pick in the PGL Season 6 draft, we ended up, I was looking at Hawlucha, obviously got sniped. That thing was going to get sniped no matter what. So we ended up getting Staraptor. Now, Staraptor has that base 100 speed, which is nice average speed tier right there. And it's got that base 120 attack. Gosh dang, you can run Intimidate or Reckless. Reckless helps, I believe, increase the attack power of something that increases the power of recoil moves by 20%. So Brave Bird just becomes even more powerful. You can run a Choice Band Brave Bird and just obliterate teams. It's insane. It's similar to how you can run a Choice Specs Boom Burst with Swallow. Well, this thing can run Choice Banded Brave Bird. It's insane. So it's definitely like a kind of Ghost Switch in as well. You can run Double Edge Brave Bird, Close Combat. You could kind of go Techie and go Final Gambit. But it's a nice U-turner as well, so you can gain momentum by U-turning out. But you can run Life Orb. A lot of times you can run Choice Scarf or Choice Band. So I'm definitely excited to use this thing. Definitely. Because it just can be a powerful bird. As again, as Gareth puts it, he says, where'd he say? Hold on, where did he say Staraptor? He did not say Staraptor. There it is. Massive physical nuke with reckless burb spam. Indeed, indeed. It also gets Roost, and it's a defogger as well. So you can defog those rocks away. Obviously, it's hard to switch into rocks anyways. But you can defog the rocks away. It's also a Rooster, so if you don't want to run Choice Band set, you can run Roost on this thing to gain recovery back. And our last pick, we needed a nice type. We needed a Rapid Spinner, so I went ahead and picked up Abalug. This thing is insanely bulky on the physical side. With a 184 base physical defense. Holy crap. It obviously does have a base 46 special defense, so that's kind of a problem. But geez, that's insane. It's got a base 117 attack as well. So it's actually really good with an attack stat of 117. So you could, like, if you want to take a physical attack and then run Avalanche, because if you don't know, Avalanche doubles the damage once you take a hit, which is super nice. It's got a base 95 HP, so it's not too bad. But it is a Rapid Spinner. It's Get Recover. It gets Avalanche. You can run, I believe it gets Icicle Crash as well, if I'm not mistaken. No, it does not. You get Ice Fang. You can run Gyro Ball because it's super slow. But Abalug, as Garrett puts it, stupidly physical defense bulky and gets spin. Recovery hits pretty hard with Avalanche. Roar option as well. So yeah, it doesn't have the greatest coverage, which is kind of sucks. But honestly, an Avalanche, so after it doubles, it's going to be base 120. That's still super powerful. So it helps deal with anything like those dragon types, flying types, grass types, any of the sort. So I'm super excited to use Avalug here with that base 184 defense, because we can still take those fighting attackers. So something like Breloom fighting grass, Ice will annihilate that thing, and we can still take a physical fighting attack. But there's my draft, guys. Again, go ahead and comment in the comments below what should the nicknames be of every Pokemon except for Cortana and Vulcanian, and which of these Pokemon you'd like to see shiny for me to use. But yeah, thanks so much, guys. I will catch y'all later. Peace.